Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Two encouraging stats that prove the Golden State Warriors may be contenders again. The Golden State Warriors at 7-1, fresh off arguably their most impressive victory in years, are playing like it's 2018 once again. After an offseason in which many believed the Warriors were making a big mistake in allowing Klay Thompson to sign with the Dallas Mavericks, it's Golden State who have gotten off to a better start. I wouldn't say the Warriors have not missed Klay, but it's safe to suggest that the team did a great job in replacing him, considering how little flexibility they had. And of the bigger reasons for the Warriors' excellent play this season revolves around one of those off-season acquisitions. But the Warriors' success so far this season goes beyond just one player. It's only fair to give this team their props for how dominant they've been through the first 8 games of the season. Sure, it's a small sample size, and this team must continue to prove their worth as a potential contender, but there are specifically 2 encouraging stats or trends that prove the Warriors may have more staying power as a contender in the Western Conference than perhaps many are willing to admit. The Golden State Warriors at 7-1, fresh off arguably their most impressive victory in years, are playing like it's 2018 once again. After an offseason in which many believed the Warriors were making a big mistake in allowing Klay Thompson to sign with the Dallas Mavericks, it's Golden State who have gotten off to a better start. I wouldn't say the Warriors have not missed Klay, but it's safe to suggest that the team did a great job in replacing him, considering how little flexibility they had. And of the bigger reasons for the Warriors' excellent play this season revolves around one of those off-season acquisitions. But the Warriors' success so far this season goes beyond just one player. It's only fair to give this team their props for how dominant they've been through the first 8 games of the season. Sure, it's a small sample size, and this team must continue to prove their worth as a potential contender, but there are specifically 2 encouraging stats or trends that prove the Warriors may have more staying power as a contender in the Western Conference than perhaps many are willing to admit. Over the last 9 years of their dynasty, there's almost been one consistent with the Warriors. When they have a dominant defense, they're successful. It's the ultimate difference maker for a team that is generally always a great offensive team because of Steph Curry. This season, the Warriors have not only been explosive on the offensive end of the floor, but they've also managed to re-emerge this season as one of the best defensive teams in the league. Right now, the Warriors have the second-best defensive rating in the league and are trailing only the Oklahoma City Thunder. If the Warriors are going to prove they're a contender this season, it always hinged on their ability to rebound defensively. In each of the past 2 seasons, the Warriors have been pretty average defensively. During the 2021-22 NBA season, when they won the NBA championship, they were the second-best defensive team in the league. It may still be early, but the Warriors are playing championship-level defense to begin the season. If these 2 trends can continue for the Warriors over the remainder of the season, there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a team that no one will want to face in the postseason. Whether they have enough elite talent to win a championship remains to be seen, especially if they have to beat a team like the Boston Celtics over the course of a 7-game series. However, one thing is a certainty: the Warriors are playing like contenders again. At this point, it would be foolish to not realize that. Holiday shares honest reaction to Celtics fans booing Kerr. Boston Celtics guard Jrue Holiday had a humorous reaction to Boston Celtics fans booing Warriors coach Steve Kerr during Wednesday night's game at TD Garden. Holiday explained how the fans let Kerr have it for benching Celtics star Jason Tatum during the Paris Olympics. The fans didn't like it, Holiday said on FDTV's Run It Back. They booed the hell out of bro. I like Steve, but that was amazing though. As Team USA coach, Kerr had the challenging task of piecing together lineups with one of the most talented Olympic squads of all time. Between Steph Curry, LeBron James, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Holiday, and others, it was inevitable that someone would get left out. Tatum's snubbing drew the ire of Boston fans, who questioned how Kerr could bench the four-time All-NBA player over some of his less accomplished teammates. Tatum had the second fewest minutes of any player on Team USA's roster. The heated battle between two of the top teams in the NBA lived up to the hype, with Tatum scoring a game-high 32 points. Thanks to an offensive explosion from Steph Curry and some timely free throw shooting, the Warriors left Boston with a 118-112 victory. This was the only regular season appearance for Golden State at TD Garden, so the next time Boston fans will get a chance to jeer at Kerr would be if both teams make the NBA Finals. Considering the Warriors and Celtics have won 2 of the last 4 championships, you might hear fans in TD Garden loudly booing Kerr a few more times next summer. NBA rumors: Warriors could make big trade, says insider. After an underrated offseason, the Golden State Warriors appear to be one of the best teams in the NBA again. The Dubs are off to a 7-1 start, which puts them in a tie for first place in the Western Conference, but one NBA insider said the team still could make a big trade this season. Even though the Warriors' moves over the summer, which included replacing Klay Thompson with Buddy Hield, have seemed to work out great, ESPN's Brian Windhorst suggested that the Warriors are the biggest candidate to pull off a blockbuster trade this season. They tried to trade for LeBron James last trade deadline, Windhorst said on First Take of the Warriors. I know, it was one of the most amazing stories that WOJ and Ramona reported all last year, was that trade talks went down. Okay, that didn't happen. Then they tried to trade for Paul George. Then they tried to trade for Lauri Markkanen. This is a team that's got an itchy trigger finger, trying to make a big deal. All of these players' value are increasing as this happens. Now they may not want to touch what they've got going, but this team has its draft picks going forward, they have all these guys, they've lowered their payroll by $50 million, the Warriors are the biggest candidate in my mind to make a big trade. They tried to trade for LeBron James last trade deadline. This is a team that's got an itchy trigger finger trying to make a big deal. Brian Windhorst did not say who the Warriors may target in any potential trade, but there is almost always at least one star who becomes available each season. If the Milwaukee Bucks season continues to fall apart, it is possible Giannis Antetokounmp could eventually want out of Milwaukee. Additionally, Jimmy Butler's future in Miami would seem up in the air after Heat executive Pat Riley publicly criticized some of Butler's antics after losing in the first round of the playoffs to the Boston Celtics. The Heat are also just 3-4 to start the season. If the Warriors do decide to make a big trade at some point this season, the team will likely have some hard decisions to make when it comes to with which players to part ways. It would seem likely that Jonathan Kuminga, who has found himself back on the bench albeit still in a 23-minute-per-game role, would be one of the players moved. But if the reported Markkanen trade talks were any indication, teams will probably also want second-year Brandon Podziemski and fourth-year player Moses Moody, in addition to draft picks. When it came to the Jazz wing, the Warriors reportedly refused to part ways with their young core to acquire Markkanen. However, if a title seems within grasp, it would seem to make sense that Golden State, with the aging duo of Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, would go all in to try to chase at least one more title. If the Warriors continue to play as well as they have to start the year, the team may make no move at all. Golden State has won 7 of its first 8 games, including last night's road win over the Celtics. The Dubs will try to spoil the only remaining undefeated season tomorrow when the Warriors travel to Cleveland to take on the 9-0 Cavaliers. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Antetekounmp? Leave your opinion in the comments.